We'll start the meeting for the December 18th, 2023 Commissioners meeting. We have a quorum. We'll begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everyone had a chance to review the payroll?
Yes.
I move that we approve the payroll.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We have the minutes from the previous meeting. Anybody have any amendments to that?
No.
I'll move that we approve.
Second.
Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And then we have the claims. I think those have been reviewed. Any changes there?
No.
I'll move that we approve the claims.
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's get right into the highway reports.
Good morning. Did you do the treasurer's and clerk's?
We looked at it. I'll look at it. So we can piece of it in a minute. And while Steve's handing these out, has everyone had a chance to review the clerk's monthly report and the treasurer's monthly
Sure.
report?
Yes.
Any action that anyone needs to take on those?
No.
Okay, they've been reviewed for the month.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wanted to, I guess, recap the White Stallion meeting that took place last week. I thought it went well. Many topics were discussed with good interaction from the audience. Michael was planning to give me a call and we could get together. I think there were some concerns that some of the landowners had that we discussed, and I was gonna take him out and show him where some of these were and then get into some of the issues that I had, but he was booked up last week and didn't make that happen, so we'll just, we'll see how that goes. But I believe within the next couple months, it's gonna be working with landowners and working out what they feel that they need and try to get them to agree to it and then have them sign off, and then we'll be ready to go. And I think at that point, we're gonna have another meeting, I believe in February, something like that, similar to what we had, and do basically the same thing, but the final plan, so.
In that same topic, I don't know if you saw the meeting last week, there was some articles on Steve Chancellor about, he has like a countersuit against the bankruptcy court. He's wanting paid for his, he's saying he put in more than he got out, and there was contractually some money supposed to be paid to him. So it was just interesting that the head of the failed company is trying to get, I don't know, I think it was $1.1 million or something for the last year they were in operation. So yeah, that was in the media. So he's saying that it's been looked at all wrong, I think.
Okay, well, he's entitled to his opinion.
I heard there was some news, some stuff in there about bankruptcy as well, about being in Delaware and all that.
I will see if I can't find that, see what his grievances may be.
What true fair?
Said he wouldn't treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he bought the
You got a garment?
nest, I think. I guess he was part of that purchasing of White's or
Solar Sword?
Silver Sources, yes.
Yeah, so anyway, it's still an ongoing battle, and what, again, it's bugged me from day one that it takes this long to get something like this resolved. I mean, it's been a lot of years, or feels like it's been 20 years, but.
Started my first meeting, I think.
Been a long time, yeah.
I don't know, guess you just Kind of like the other stuff we're dealing with, it just takes a long time. Okay. I want to say, tell you that it was in the news last week. If anybody's interested in looking up Steve Chancellor's name, you'll probably be able to find some more information on it.
Okay. The high weeds and junk ordinance, I believe, she is on the agenda this morning, so, I think, I've got backup material here, and I think Sandy's got some here as well, so we'll just see how that plays out. Expiring service agreements from Waste Management, we've got them in, and, they did, approve the changes that we recommended, so, basically, we need your, approval on each one, and so, for that, I believe it was Jasper, Ferdinand, Huntingburg, and, Ireland on those sites.
So this just formalizes what we've done, what we kind of agreed to form previously.
Yes.
So it looks like there's a single signature line that we didn't, would you like to review these before I sign them?
Steve looked at them, I'm okay.
All right, so just for the record, we have 4 service agreements here for the Ireland, Jasper, Virgin, and Huntingburg sites. I'll move that we approve signing the service agreements.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Next item, holiday hours for the sanitation sites. Christmas Day and New Year's Day both fall on Monday this year, where the Jasper, Huntingburg, Ireland, DuBois, and Ferdinand sites would usually be open. These sites, as a matter of fact, all sites will be closed on Monday, December 25th, and again on Monday, January 1st.
I did put that on the website.
Okay. And so. Okay. Next item is transfer of appropriations. We're going to be a little short with our last refuse disposal bill for the year. So I'd like to transfer $5,000 from solid waste and the highway reimbursement and move it to solid waste refuse disposal to cover that bill.
Anyone have an issue with the transfer of appropriations?
No.
Nope.
I'll move that we approve transfer of $5,000 from solid waste, highway reimbursement to solid waste refused disposal.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
And finally, the freeze-thaw ordinance, to prevent damages caused by excess weight on county roads during periods of freeze and thaw conditions. This ordinance provides a 10-ton gross weight limit on all county roads in DuBois County except for 3rd Avenue from the Jasper city limits to State Road 162. This will be effective from the period beginning Monday, January 15th of 2024 and last through Monday, April 15th of 2024. With your approval, we'll need an ordinance number and your signatures on this form.
I think it'll be 19.
Say, do you know an ordinance number?
That resolution we did is 2023-18, I think. Is that right?
18, so it'd be 19.
I think it'd be 19.
Anyone have any discussion items for this? Freeze thaw?
Nope.
And we'll get that advertised.
I move that we approve ordinance number 19 with the freeze thaw.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And that's all I got.
All right.
Can you get one of these? Can you get me one of those?
Thank you. Frank, you come here, I'll get on and give you this card. This commissioner from Delaware County wanted to talk to you. She was the one that liked how you did Wackelhurst, I guess.
Okay.
And, what did I write on there? They were talking about doing some work in-house, and I guess they, if you remember, we were at that meeting, they said, oh, well, that was, Du Bois County is really great.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
anyway, she gave us a card, and if you could reach out to her and tell her you're the one that makes Du Bois County good.
Do we have Delaware County Department who is that? Delaware?
That's
Yeah, I don't have anything I know anybody. But yeah, I
I know
will.
we were at a little meeting, and she was saying how great that particular thing was, and wanted to know if they could save some money doing something similar in their county.
Yep, we can do that. That's not a problem.
Can you switch?
Okay. Christmas present. I sent you guys an email of that exact document. Here's a printed copy because I personally like to be able to hold it in my hand and read it. But sometimes having it digital is nice for a quick reference.
The test on this one?
Yep. Okay, Safe Streets for All, nothing going on. They are doing stuff and giving information, so they are moving, just have to report. Duff Solar Park, EDP sent an email last week. They couldn't get all their stuff in line, they're getting all finalized, but they won't be here until the January meeting. So just want to keep that on my radar as well. Okay, Distress Road, this is more just an update really, all my stuff is. February 5th, I'm going to bid my Distress Road paving projects. That's one we applied for early this year. So Meridian Road, 130 West, 225 South, 400 South, and Woods Road. So we'll bid those February 5th. Roughly $1.1 million of paving. Now, the next one is our community crossing. So we're gonna apply for those in January, and the list is below. So we're gonna do Ferdinand Road East, 350 South, San Antonio Road West, 450 South, Holiday Lake Road, and 815 South. That's roughly $1.4 million. The reason we got it way over what we would, because the bid's coming low, but we're still getting our $1 million, and also we get better price, add more projects to it. Price per
I
ton goes down.
just saw a thing come out that it's going to 1.5.
1.5, I got a little more research on that, so,
I thought I just saw that.
and I don't know exact history on that, it just a random email that came through, so. But yeah, so that's what that is there, those are those we're gonna pay. I would assume we probably get their approval to do that, I think, your guys' approval as a board to go with those roads.
Anybody want more time to consider the project,
No.
and you want that approved today?
If you can, please. And so those roads are selected based on the road prioritization book, the rating system. That's where they get done, so you guys know.
So I suppose we can approve these projects today. If you look over the prioritization thing and you find that you disagree, we can let them know as soon as possible. so that they can do the application next month. So I'll move that we approve the CCMG projects as they're listed here.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And I don't remember on that same thing, I got the same email saying it was 1.5 next year. Did it say there was gonna be two sessions or two?
I don't know, like I said, I saw it come through, I was busy when it came through, so I didn't get a chance to review it, but the 1.5, usually our associations kind of know this is coming, and that was the new one, so let's kind of see what's going on.
So this is from the county commissioners, and it says, during the calendar year 2024, NDOT will be increasing the maximum awarded amount per calendar year for the CCMG program from $1 to $1.5 million. To be eligible, you must have approved asset management plan, close out old awards from 22. NDOT will reassess the pilot program at the end of 24. All other requirements and guidelines remain the same.
So I was interested up 2 calls.
So it looks like it's official. So hopefully there's 2 different calls for projects, is that what they call it?
Yeah, we'll have one in January, one in July.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is road prioritization vote. So it's a lot of information, I sent you an email, so if you guys have any questions on how we come up with it, what the information needs, give me a call, I'll go over it with you. Nothing new, I mean, you guys have seen it before, but Teresa's your first time kind of looking through it, so. Try to do it every year, so you guys got an update of what everyone's saying.
All right. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Thank you, Brad.
All right, we have a few extra minutes here for some miscellaneous items. We have a couple appointments we still need to make. The first one being the Huntingburg Planning Commission. We reached out to the person serving on the commission currently, and my understanding that Timothy Nino is still willing to serve another
Yes.
term.
Yes.
So let's just go ahead and do that one. I'll move that we approve that appointment. Any other discussion?
Nope.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And the second appointment that we were still holding out on was the Airport Authority Board. And Mary Beckman was willing to take that appointment. And I'll move that we accept that appointment to the Airport Board. Any other discussion?
Nope.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, let her go. After reviewing the list, I believe that concludes our appointments for this year for 2024 and forward. Pardon me?
Do I need to get forms made for them? I have these.
Airport does have a form. I think Bertie doesn't have it listed if there's a form.
Hey, it's Sandy. They're appointing Mary E. Becky Beckman to the airport authority. And Tina Nino is going to continue on the Huntingburg Plan Commission. Do you want any forms for those?
Another
Thank you.
appointment that needs to be made, but it's not our position. The judge has to replace Amy Gremmelsbacher, who's been on the DuBois County Community Corrections Advisory Board for a number of years. So I want to thank her for her service, and I think the judge will take care of that. I think that's generally, or it's supposed to be a person who's a CASA, maybe, or someone that works with in that area. So Mr. Schneer gave us a sample permit the city uses for utility improvements. as a sample that we could potentially use for solar projects. Is that correct, Mr. Schmidt?
Yeah, I sent it as a reference point of their permit form that they use. I think Highway uses something similar whenever they're doing certain projects as well. But again, that was just for reference. It can be tweaked or modified now that we know Marky can take our PDFs and turn them into something that we can edit. We can use that service maybe.
So it's a pretty basic form, but at least it would be a starting point.
It'd be a
so that-
starting point. Obviously, some of the stuff wouldn't be relevant for, we don't have zones. Zoning.
Did anybody have a comment on it, or do you remember what we're talking about, things like that?
Yeah, I'm not changed to look at that yet.
When was that sent?
I sent it
December 4th?
during or following our last meeting this month. Probably in the middle of the meeting.
It was at 8:30 now.
Yeah.
So I'm resending it to everybody, so
Thank
sorry
you.
if you're getting it again. So I would say that, I think it's a good idea to at least have this, when people call us, they can say, what do we have to do to get permitted in DuBois County? Well, start by filling this out, and then second to that, we can say, that we can maybe work on putting under Brent and Steve with the road use, and then the decommissioning, the other item. But at least this will give us a start, and then as far as a permit itself, what do you think that looks like? Do you think we just?
I think that application, once it would just be approved, I would believe that would come before this board.
Okay.
The board would approve it, and then that would be the process.
So it doesn't have to be a different formalized document, it could just have a stamp or a signature.
Accepted by, yes. And then we could reflect it in our minutes as well.
Would you work on making this work for us?
More relevant to what we needed.
Put our logo on it and cut out the stuff we don't need?
Sure.
And then you guys can look at it if you have any feedback, but I think it's just it'll give us a point of contact with that company and give us a starting point. Because it'll start the file for our company. Because I get plenty of phone calls.
Fun. And then we got, the three that are going right now, at least two of them, I think, they have their own process in place that would not involve this form whenever it's adopted, because they predate it.
Oh, right. We could ask them to fill it out as a courtesy.
We fill in the file
Right.
with their other documents.
Okay, yeah, we'll check that out, and you might put that on the calendar for the next meeting, that way we'll remember to, all of us will remember to review it.
What is it that, solar?
Right, so, commercial
Use permit.
solar energy permit. All right, the next thing up, we received a quote from Matrix Integration to do some changes for the sheriff's department as it relates to telephones, trunking, and connection. It looks like it's a proposal for an amount of under $2,000. And my understanding is that, this is back page of that, is that this will save $6,000 a year roughly in phone charges.
It'll change us from a PRI service to a SIP service, which is what the courthouse is on currently. And we'll change them to get onto our SIP service, and it'll save money.
Do you know what those, can you explain what those are to us? Do you know what that means?
It's something with the trunking on how phone lines come in. The county went to it several years ago. We were on a different service, they were on Frontier, we were not. Now their contract with Frontier is finished, and we'd like to get us all on the same service.
Do you, have we had any issues with the way our service has been working?
Well, with 911 calls you do. If somebody dials 911, if it goes through a trunk that's not a, certified number, then we get charged a fee. So we'd like to get that all on the same service so that we don't get that anymore.
And I guess Ron understands where we are in the construction process and when this would all,
Well, the Frontier contract was over at the beginning of 23, I believe, and we held off. We held off until the construction got to this point where it were. I think he sent it to Kenya, so. I just got it this morning.
should we wait to sign it or take any action until they have a chance to look at it? Or, I don't know how time sensitive it is.
If I get it signed this year, I can pay for it out of this year's money.
So here's the rest of it. I was gonna send her an email, but my email's not responding.
And you're logged in. You're on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it does this, it just gets clogged up and says not responding, and I think however long it takes them to say something down there. So what I'm getting is, oh, that's right.
Sometimes I'm not on Wi-Fi, right?
Commissioner Ostetter, do you understand what that all means?
Yes. I think that that's what I'm going to understand.
Okay, no, I didn't know if you knew, if you had experience with those different kinds of product.
No, I had something similar in the restaurant, but I couldn't tell you as far as all that stuff worked. I think ultimately it lies with you trust your service provider. So.
Mr. Schneer, are we having a formal hearing at 9:05?
I sent a notice of a hearing, yes.
Okay, so the notice has been sent to
The
the,
notice was sent. I need to check with Glenn.
Here, I got it all.
Okay, certified and all
The
that.
certified did not get picked up, they notified her, they tried to deliver, and they never could, as far as we could tell on the.
I did meet with her the Wednesday before it was sent, and I hand delivered the same thing.
Okay. So we have personal service then by the highway department.
the thing that you're talking about, you think with the disc. All the time, or just like, it's busy. So that's. Yeah, I went through it, but there's no phone, but-
Here's what's doing it.
It didn't work.
There's 10 trucks.
Okay, that's, okay.
So let's sign these appointment forms and then we will do the weed ordinance violation. Mr. Schneider, what's the term for pausing the meeting? So we can pause the original meeting to get it.
Oh.
Call it into recess.
We'll just-
Yeah, you would recess the meeting, yes.
All right, we're gonna recess the commissioners' standard meeting and open the weed ordinance violation hearing. It's for Jamaica Brown for a weed violation. And I believe, Mr. Berg, you have something to start the hearing off?
Yes.
So a notice of the hearing has been attempted.
It was attempted by certified. We sent it regular mail as well.
We sent it both, another has come back.
And according to Mr. Berg, he also personally delivered her a copy of the notice of hearing.
We had spoke after the first one was sent, and went out to be sure that, she had moved along and got it completed, and basically had done very little. So I think at that point, I had handed her the second letter that Greg did. I prepared and let her know that she was to appear here. If she got everything completed, satisfactory by then, it would, likely be dropped, but she hasn't done anything. Excuses and all that, so. Anyhow, the initial complaint came on October 10th, and I've got some pictures. I don't know if it's in that file as well. I've got some pictures of what the property looked like at the time of the complaint.
Yes. And what's this? Is the side of the home? Brett, just for the board, you want to explain what we have here?
This is the front of the house. There's the side of the house. There's a large area here that's not been maintained. It's growing tall. Over here, there used to be a gravel flower bed type of thing. There's a big pile of limbs and all that now, and it's got a lot of high weeds and brush around it as well, and a lot of complaints from the neighborhood. So those are
Did you have any formal complaints, or were they just phone calls, or what? What kind of complaint did you get on those? There's a formal complaint. Okay.
and some phone calls as well.
Okay.
I've made several attempts to stop in to talk with her. I did talk with her on one particular day, and that's when I handed her the letter that Greg had put together and sent out. So I know we did receive, I guess the first letter that we sent out that came from me was received, where she had signed off on, but the other one hadn't.
Post office made several attempts, I think is what's in there.
All right, so the county ordinance states that grass or weeds cannot be more than 12 inches for non-agricultural purposes. There's been an accumulation of some trash on the property as well. The county highway department that's their duty to determine if a property is in violation, and they've determined that the property is in violation of the county ordinance. From what the photographs show, it appears that those are items, or that looks pretty obvious that would be out of, in violation of the.
Well, I got caught.
Okay. And so, what else do you have? Anything else to state about the case?
Outside of, I haven't seen enough to justify, it still needs to be finished.
Okay.
It really goes separate.
All right, is that it, Brian?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning. Thank you for hearing. So far, all we've discussed is the the violation that you have on your property has been described to us. We've seen some photographs of the property, and to our knowledge, as of early or late last week, the problem still hasn't been completed, right, or hasn't been cleaned up. It's still in violation of the county's ordinance. Would you like to state your side of the situation, please?
Sure. So I guess my understanding, I don't know what the pictures look like that you got. He did come through the other week, and I did get a lot of it done. There's a little bit left. I haven't burned any of the weeds and things that I took up just because of the wind and the cold, and there's a lot out there. I've gotten a lot done. I'm a little confused about, I guess, the height, because I think he said when he came out, he said 8, and then on something that I read, maybe it was something here, or something that was with this, it said something like 12 inches, and then I look across the street, and it's totally, like, the house across the street is worse than mine, but I've got pictures of that too. I forgot the thing, I think it's in the car, the complaint that I have for that one I was gonna drop off. But, so I'm just confused about what I guess the entirety of the complaint is, and what all else needed to be done besides the little bit of weeds that was a little bit taller that I needed to cut down, because there was a majority of it got cut down. So, I don't know, just, I work, it's just me. I told him, I said, it's me, it's my kid, and I do the best that I can, but I work full time, and I'm sure it's everybody's story, but you know, it is what it is. I'm doing the best I can, and I'm just trying to understand how far, I guess, what it looks like when they originally took pictures, and then what it looks like now.
Sure. You can approach and we can show you with the photos that we have.
And then I can show you the photos that I have from today that I just took this morning too.
Is that your home?
Yeah, this is my house. So is it, okay, so this is off the road, and it's not that close to, how far is the distance from the road? Does it matter? Because this is a field that's in this area. Can I ask? Is there like do you understand what I'm asking?
You're saying, I mean, that seems pretty close to your house.
Yes, this is close to the house
And then this
right
one's
here.
away.
Yep, but what I'm saying is,
So
it's
your house
not
like
that
this way?
close to the road, so this is the back, yes, my house is over here. So this right here is the front of what's on the road, which all of that is down now. And then this right here is around the back of my house, like this is the front right here, but these are like actual bushes. And then this is like just stuff that's growing in this area, like bushes and things that are over there.
Okay. So you asked
So
about the
once-
nature of the complaint. Basically, the complaint stated that you had a door off of the house leaning.
Yep, I
and
moved that.
There's tall weeds and flower bed that needs attention also.
Okay,
So, no, to address your point though, I guess,
if I can show you.
yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is the side of the yard that you were just looking at.
Uh-huh. And is that spot right behind it, like
So
a flower
this
bed?
spot
or
right
something?
here,
Uh-huh.
which is where some of that is, that was, I don't know, the lady that lived there before, it's like rocks that are there,
Uh-huh.
and she had bushes and things that were growing in there. I don't know what was there before, I didn't drive that way. So,
Okay.
I guess there used to be flowers and stuff, but now it's just all kind of random trees and things. But we cut down a majority of that, and that's where I was gonna burn everything. But you see, like, this isn't close, it's not that close to the road,
When
but
was this photo taken?
this morning,
This morning, okay.
yeah, today, 8:48.
Okay.
And then this one, that one's another one of the same side, the same area.
And so you're saying like where there was like, go back, please. Like this stuff right over here, if you want to turn around so I can show you what I'm talking about, like that spot?
Yep.
So
All of
that's,
that's cut down right here. There's just a little bit, I think, right here.
Mhm.
But I didn't realize that it was the side. I thought it was just this front area, which is like what you would see from the road. Like,
Right.
this is the front part. So, sorry.
What is the amount of, the size of your lot?
I have an acre.
I think what would help me is I'm gonna pull up,
Can I see
the
And
map
then
so I can
this
see
is what
your footprint
it
is.
looks like across the road. So this is the house. I don't know, I think that's probably the garage, but this is what their grass looks like across the road.
Mhm.
So my question is, if it looks like this across the road, which is 10 times worse than what mine looks like, why do I have a complaint and they don't? And I understand it is what it is. I'm not upset about my complaint. I've been trying to get stuff done at the house. I've got a leak in the roof and all kinds of stuff. But if you look at it, like, theirs is 10 times, like their whole entire yard looks like that. So if it's 8 inches or 12 inches or whatever, do they have a complaint as well, or is it just me because there was a door? I'm sorry.
This isn't a satisfying answer.
Right,
But they didn't get complained on and you did. That's the only difference.
right, and I totally
Yeah,
understand that, but I'm just trying to understand, like, is it because the door was out there, which I moved, it was a screen door, I was moving things out of the house and it broke and whatever, but, I have, like I said, I guess I could file a complaint on them, which is fine, but I just need to understand, like, is there a certain amount of feet from the road, I guess, that it's supposed to be? Like, is there, I don't know.
Mr. Schneider, could you pull up the ordinance and we can give her the information?
I did contact that other lady and mentioned, do you want to set court that you're talking about? I guess she has incorporated that in a wildflower vegetation plan or something like that. It's been posted with USDA, so.
So she doesn't have to mow that area?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Since you brought it up, I thought I would research it.
I mean,
so-
it's cool.
Would you mind coming up here? I just want to look at one
Yes.
more thing. Mr. Berg,
Yeah.
you'll check this out too, maybe the rest of the board.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, this might help me a little further.
Yep.
So here we are driving down the road.
Yep, that's
Is
my
this
house.
is this one of the parts of the complaint is back here?
Yep,
And
this
then the
right
other
here
part
is
of
the rocky area. And so what I was telling him when he was out, all of this right here, this land right before their driveway, this is all like swamp. It didn't used to be like that when I first moved in, which was like 2 years ago. But for some reason now, it's all swamp. So my little baby riding lawnmower gets stuck in it, and it's just stupid. And I know that it's like, but it's one of those things like, and I broke my lawnmower belt twice this year, so that's why like some of it's a little rough. But like, I know this area right here is what I thought was the issue. And then, but all of this is mine too, but all of this right here, like this is swamp. So all this gets high because I can't get into it. And then I bought, which you guys don't really care, but I bought like weed eaters and stuff, but I'm not strong enough to make it work. So I'm fighting with it. So now I have people coming over from the church that were helping me, and we got a lot of all of it cut down. So like now, all of this, most of this is all gone. But it's still kind of high because it was dry and whatever, so it doesn't look like that
So this is
right now.
This photo is from June. It says.
Yes,
So.
and
I'll
this
do
summer
this.
we had cut down because there were trees here, so the neighbor that lives right here had helped me, and we'd cut down all the trees and things that were in the bushes that were right here. And those are starting to grow back now too, so I'm trying to figure out how to kill off this stuff, plus kill off this stuff, but I had a dog, and then she ended up dying, which I think was kind of from poison, but I don't know. And so, yeah, it was, so I could get it if it's like, I understand if the complaint is like this front, like all of this I cut down too, because all that was there. I cut all of that down. I cut all of that down. This back here was higher. All of that's cut down. And then there's like a pile of limbs and stuff in this round kind of area right here.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else from? Is
No,
what she's saying sound accurate? I mean, your photograph was one, this rock area back here, one right next to the house.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And when she did bring that up about the neighbor, I spoke with the neighbor that mentioned that somebody complained about that as well, just verbally. And she gave me a copy of the USDA form. I guess she is officially.
But does that cover
registered.
I guess, the front of the house too? Like, I'm
Well,
not
you know-
trying to be picky or, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to understand what the rules are so that I don't have to do this again. I could try to stay on top of it. You know, obviously it's winter now and I'll do the best that I can, but like the whole front part of like in front of the house has where it's, the weeds are tall.
Mhm.
And I don't know if this is the same woman that was there. The one that was there before used to mow that area that I showed you before that has all the tall weeds that are next to her house. She used to mow that. because I've been there almost 2 years, I think now.
Okay.
So all of that used to be mowed, so for it to be like a wildlife something kind of blew my mind just a bit, because she used to be out there on a lawnmower actually mowing down and up and down the hill, so I have no idea.
So according to that, that was from at least 2019. So,
Okay.
but that's
So-
really a separate thing. That's,
Right, which is fine.
I see where you're coming from, though. It's noted. Mr. Schneider, what did you?
So weeds are, if you're in a platted subdivision, and I don't know that you are,
Wouldn't be.
so in all other areas within the county, weeds, grass, or other vegetation except agricultural cropland in excess of 12 inches in height shall be considered weeds. Where the real estate is located within 50 feet of the county intersection, the real estate is located within a county right of way, the real estate is located within 150 feet of a residential structure located in DuBois County.
So I think there's your answer. Within 150 feet of your house, that's where the ordinance says, if you wanted to put a perimeter around your house, 150 feet, that is the area that's supposed to be maintained. That's how I read it.
As far as under 12
Under 12
inches.
inches.
So as far as the street goes, it doesn't matter how close it is or how far it is to the street, because that was what I thought the issue was.
I think,
It does matter how close it is to the street also, but that might not be your current fact pattern.
Okay.
what
Because I kind of feel like I live in the country, which it maybe it's not, maybe it's considered city more city, but.
yeah, I would agree with you. You're coming
So I would think that, like, let's say the street is here and then my yard is here, that let's say I have to do 50 feet to this from the road needs to be under 12 inches. Does that make sense? That's my thought process. But if that's not right and it's like the whole land obviously needs to be under 8 inches or 12 inches, then I just need to understand, like, that means the backyard, that means everything within that I own, I guess.
You would probably have a home to your east, it looks like, and to your west.
I don't know if that means left and right, yes.
Left and right. As you're looking at your house from the highway, left and right. of it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the distance is, plus your home itself.
Yeah, so there's one that's right next door that he's really close.
Mhm.
And then there's one that's separated by the acre,
Correct.
or however long that length is.
Does the board need any additional information from Ms. Brown or the county highway department? Is there anything further we need out of, you want to continue to read that
Well,
ordinance?
that was basically the end of that particular section that would apply. The house on the left is also within 150 feet.
Okay,
Even though there's that acre there.
Yep.
And again, that depends on how you measure.
that's
right?
fine.
But more or less. it's
Okay.
Anywhere from 130 to 158, somewhere in that range, depending on the points of the house.
So from the house out,
And my crude,
that's fine.
tool
I'm
here.
just trying to
So if I
understand.
just went from the driveway and I
Yep.
came over, I mean, that's 130,
Oh, okay,
150 on top of your house.
okay,
Which would stand to reason that his house here
Yeah.
is, probably within 150 feet there also. If I went,
Yeah,
I
pretty
just
much
need to
all
keep it
that
on
property.
it would seem,
To the
because,
best of my
by the time I get over here, you're 150 feet of this house. So yes,
So anything
you may
from
live in the
within-
country, but again, it's
Did you guys ever have that?
residential primarily. This
Okay.
might be, is this a business?
no, that's his barn,
This.
the neighbor's got a barn.
I know their business is up here on the
In the back.
intersection,
Yeah, there's
but
nothing.
these
out
are
there.
primary residential.
Yeah,
All right, well, anything else, you guys both said you don't have anything else to say at this point? Well,
no,
And then we'll give you our ruling or our judgment here. Anything from Commissioner Stefanago?
No,
Anything from Mr. Schneider, or Mr. Hussener, sorry?
No, at this time.
Okay,
I don't
I'll give my 2 cents worth and we'll pass it along to see what y'all think. So we've had a complaint. We viewed images of the property. We've talked to the homeowner. When I look at the map, it does look like, and I think this is what he's showing you, 150 feet pretty much takes care of all kinds of stuff. The purpose in my mind of this ordinance at all is to make where we all live look nice and tidy and organized. My opinion, when I'm looking at the front of your house, when I look to the left, where it goes down that little hill, that is my main concern, and to keep the front of your house looking tidy and safe and those kind of things. So that would be my main concern, is to have that one done. That stuff where the water runs through and there's a rocky area, not as important to me. They may feel differently, but my main concern would be keep that area, the front of your home and that side part clear. Could we, according to that ordinance, we could be more aggressive and say, you do it and it's done by this day, or we're doing it and sending you a bill. I don't think this case looks like it's, you're not being nasty. We're not gonna be nasty. I agree with you, the area that you live in, it's not unusual for there to be a field that has grass growing in it. And I don't believe your field between you and your person to your left, which would be west, doesn't look egregious, it doesn't look terrible to me. It would be more important that you probably keep good on the person on your right side because they're right next to you. So my opinion is, I think the homeowner understands what needs to be done. And even if it isn't done, it's not a huge, it doesn't look like a big nasty violation like we've had in some places. She keeps most of the yard, looks like it's mowed. She's taking the appropriate action and understands what is expected. That's kind of where I stand. Commissioner Austin.
I don't really know what more I can add. I think, I hope you got a understanding of where you need to be as far as what needs to stay clean. And I agree, I don't think it's egregious, but we would just have to keep it a little tidier for your neighbor's sake, and I think we'd be okay with that.
Commissioner,
I agree. You're making an effort, and we appreciate that very much.
do you think we need to take a fine? Do we think we need to do the action ourselves?
I don't think there's a fine necessary, no.
I don't either.
Okay, I didn't either.
No.
So, thank you. I was disappointed that you didn't appear, and then you appeared. I'm like, oh, that's good. So,
I was lost.
no, that's fine. So, please remedy that.
Yep.
And keep it that way, and hopefully we'll see you somewhere else, not in here.
That works. I'm good with that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Do I need to
Thank
sign
you.
anything or do anything?
No.
If you signed in, you're fine.
Mr. Schneider, is there a process we need to, our ruling is we take no action other than we've given
Correct.
information?
And any subsequent violation would be a new matter altogether.
Yes, sir. Good?
That's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you, happy holidays.
You too. Have a good day.
Scratch myself up.
Yep.
All right. 9:15, we're talking about the Beer Drive property.
That is my portion. As you guys may be aware at this point, the county was named in a lawsuit because the county's named in a number of suits because of its interest it holds in real estate in the county, typically because of collecting the taxes. In this instance, there was a case filed by the city of Jasper for a property located within city limits for an ordinance violation and wanting to foreclose on that. We are at a point here after a year of coming to a potential resolution, and I would ask the board to consider the settlement negotiations that have been ongoing, was to allow for the cleanup of this home. It's on a hazardous substance methamphetamine list with the state. There has been a contractor that we would solicit, the city has reached out to mitigate and make cleanup. They are approved by the board. The request as part of the settlement negotiations would be that the three main parties left in this lawsuit, which are the city of Jasper, Dubois County, and Springs Valley Bank and Trust, would split the cost of that mitigation cleanup 3 ways, which is right around, I have an exact figure somewhere here, sorry. $3,000. The total cost for the cleanup is $11,575, with each party paying 1/3 of that. The county's portion would be the approximate amount of $3,858.33. The plan would be, as part of the court case in the agreed order, is that the cost for that remediation would come off the top of any sheriff's sale proceeds. Then the cost of the sheriff's sale itself would come off, and then the county would be able to collect what are its current outstanding taxes, penalties, and interest for real estate taxes. And then the city would be able to collect from the next set of revenue for their weed violations, ordinance violations, et cetera. Springs Valley Bank is a mortgage holder. If there's any excess beyond that point, it then would go to, there's additional penalties and fees for the weed violation, which the county would be allowed to collect and put into its general fund. We are setting that to the side at this point, only focused on the taxes. My opinion is that this is a good outcome. This piece of property has not been able to be sold on tax sale because of its status. This gets rid of that status. It's still on the tax rolls, but ideally it puts it into somewhere to pay the taxes on it as well, which will in turn benefit the city and the parties involved. So what I would ask for today, or I have two requests. I'd ask for the board to consider the agreed order that I presented to you, or entering into that in the same or similar terms, and authorizing me as the county's attorney to enter into that agreed order with the court on the county's behalf. Then the second deals with the entering into a contract for the actual cleanup portion of it. I'm happy to answer questions. I can go into greater detail if you need. I'm sorry, and I've talked to the health department. Mr. Warner's position simply is that they're on the certified and the registered list, the cleanup crew, which they are, then they would file the appropriate paperwork, and the county health department is satisfied at that point to get it remediated. It's been sitting for a number of years.
Commissioner Husted, any questions, comments, concerns?
No, I think it sounds like a fine settlement, and a good way to get it back in ASAP.
Commissioner,
Sounds like a great cleanup. I guess my concern, which I haven't seen it, and I know there's people that are in place to look at this and determine what they want to do with it. As far as getting rid of it completely, destroying it versus the cleanup.
Not being a real estate expert, I believe that even the home cleaned up and still standing is a more viable property, especially for the people who are looking to collect, versus a vacant lot being sold at sheriff's sale. I don't think would satisfy the claims that exist.
And the cleanup crew that is coming in, they're pretty confident that they can,
I believe this is what they do. They are on the certified list, so.
pretty confident they can
Right.
clean this up.
Correct.
Spec.
Right. And not being again, I'm not in that line of work, but there'll be some stuff that's just clean. There'll be some stuff that needs to be removed. And then they take care of the removal of that.
Okay.
And, well, there was one that somebody did it and then just threw it in another county. I don't believe that's what this outfit is going to do.
And I haven't seen it personally, and not that I want to, but I was just.
Right.
You know.
And it was flagged because of an investigation, and it's going to remain that way until there are two options. It's cleaned up, decontamination certificate is filed, or it is raised, torn down.
And I trust that we have.
And the cleanup is
people in
actually
place, so-
probably more cost effective as well.
True. Okay, I say we move forward.
I agree, it's the highest and best use for the property.
Yes.
That's kind of what we look for. So,
And the goal would be that this would all, the sale and everything else would occur prior to our next round of taxes, May 10th. Which is 4 months, 5 months from now.
okay, so we'll do these two separately. One, I'll move that we allow Mr. Schneer to enter into the agreement and
That's the agreed order with the court.
the agreed order with the court. Yeah.
And I'll provide Sandy with a cause number for that, for the 2208 CC 448.
Yes,
Okay, so I'll make that second first.
and to 11.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And then to enter into the contract.
Correct. The
with-
second part of that is an agreement that all three parties, that being the city, the county, and SUB&T, enter into a cleanup agreement with Biometh Management LLC, where each party is responsible for 1/3 of the cost.
I reviewed the contract, it looks fine to me,
And
satisfied.
And I think that we could use funds, in my conversations with the auditor, from Commissioner's Ordinance Enforcement line item, and that you have authorization for the Board of Commissioners to sign off on that agreement once it's finalized.
Everybody okay with that too? Okay, I'll move that we enter into the agreement, that's what we've discussed.
I'll say,
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I will let the drafters know that this was approved. I anticipate that agreement, if it's emailed to me, I can circulate it around, or give it to Sandy, you guys can stop by the auditor's office to sign.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm gonna take 1 minute.
thank you. You need these back, Sandy.
If you want to put it down.
Do you have a copy? I have one in my file already.
Is it the,
It's the agreement itself. and the
no, I don't have
quote.
those. Well,
So I think the
I
agreement's
I
gonna,
say that, but I don't know what's all attached here.
it's not in there. But, at least the quote is. I have mine.
We'll just stick it in there. So this is the copy that you're gonna update and then they're gonna sign it?
City is updating one.
Okay.
I had some of our, like, the debarment suspension language to add. So when that's done, she'll email it to me and I'll forward it on to you.
You guys did look at that company and make sure they were parts in here, right?
Sean looked at it and the city of Jasper also did it. They are on the approved list.
Is that- we're having another.
I didn't get called to put that to order, but I said we did.
I didn't want to go. You're on board that time. Thanks. Bye. Hi. All right, please proceed.
morning, board.
Good morning.
We are looking at preliminary approval to vacate a portion of Poplar Street, town of Catalina.
Is it Poplar?
Poplar Street. 80-foot right of way in town of Catalina. This would be a informal preliminary approval. We'd like to seek this approval before going through the writing the ordinance, the actual land survey and everything. So the reason for this would be the adjoining landowner, A&B Housing, would like to develop some real estate there. And there's a floodplain line. That floodplain line really constricts the area that they can develop. So So instead of vacating the entire 80-foot right of way, we're looking for just the portion that adjoins that's not being currently used. There is a gravel drive that the adjoiner uses. That's what we're gonna stay off of. That property also has access to the state road to the south.
So is this broken line, what does this broken line mean here?
That's the floodplain line. They have to stay north of that.
Is this gonna be one lot then?
It's actually the 6 individual lots by the plat.
Okay.
However, it is deeded in one tract.
And they're probably too small on their own to get a septic approval.
Oh, yeah.
That's not our problem today. So currently, between here and here, this on the north, that on the south, there's how many feet?
80 feet perpendicular. It's a
80.
little longer along that line.
And you want us to vacate between
The north line,
40 and 43 feet of that?
yeah, approximately.
And the reason for that is just to allow the, not to mess with the neighbor to the north and their ingress.
Correct. And we are vacating it so that improvements can be placed on the property in that area.
So if we say no, these lots are not usable in any way.
It would be very limited, yes. The distance between that floodway line and the north property line is minimal.
So what the county would be doing is, in effect, gifting a person 1/4 of an acre.
Vacating it to the adjoiner, correct?
Right, they're getting something that they didn't have before.
Yeah, the typical vacation of the entire street, half of the property goes to one adjoiner and the other half goes to the
North,
other.
south, or east, west, depending on the direction. This is an angled road, I believe.
In this case, we're vacating a portion.
Okay.
What is the opinion of the adjoining landowners to the north?
We have not got that yet.
Or in the neighborhood?
Yes, that's Poplar Street. GIS actually shows it a lot narrower than what it's actually platted. Pending
Mouse
this
more
informal
touchable,
approval,
so you just leave it as it is.
pending the informal approval, we would send out the proper adjoiner notifications, public hearing, draft the survey and the ordinance, and have a further meeting, have it approved.
So if the property legally looked like it does on the GIS, the person would be happy, that's what they're wanting.
We would have enough room for improvement, that's correct. I think Diana must have had pretty big plans for an 80-foot right-of-way there back in the day.
And Commissioner Hostetter, you asked what the neighbor to the north thought about it, what was the response?
He hasn't gotten that yet.
Okay. And what about, who's the,
There's is it 2 landowners that adjoin?
Yes, the neighbor to the north and the neighbor to the west, which they would be contacted through certified mail of the next meeting.
The other question I had was more for Brent. We would not have a 60-foot right of way for county road there. All right?
We would not, that's correct. That is correct.
you said there's 80 between it now?
80 total, correct. Yep, this does not, the road itself does not go to another public access. It's essentially a dead end. It does not hinder any access to schools or other public places.
Yes, my only concern would be if the neighbor to the north decided to sell or develop those lots as well.
Okay.
The ones to the north,
Yes.
he's the owner of those? I mean,
So
say this guy owns all of these?
So if this guy here decides that he's gonna develop these lots, and then we have these, you're right away here, if we take this 43 feet away.
Can't do it.
27 feet.
Or there's actually multiple people.
Yeah, Maple Street actually went all the way through his property. That was already vacated for him. It's tough to read, but it says 1885 by the commissioners. I don't know if there was a.
I wasn't here, I didn't do that. I wasn't floating around then, I don't know.
Corey, are you, so
He still has,
this
he
is the
still
whole
has
plan?
the property.
Yes, that's the whole plan.
Right.
Ownership.
They're only
At
vacating what
this
she's
point.
concerned is.
Yeah,
Even when you vacate, you can buy a road and then they have all fees.
so right now, we're only working for the client to the south. He's only interested in his portion that he could develop. I mean, it could go as far as we vacate it traditionally, half and half, and the adjoiner to the north gets half, and the adjoiner to the south gets half, and we could put an easement through there for the adjoiner to the west. But currently, we're only working for the adjoiner to the south.
See what these people have to say first. I mean, before you, at this point. And just like he said, halfway half, possibly.
Just down here, the driveway.
Well, if you did have camp, it wouldn't meet
Goes to
our
here.
ordinance for.
Oh, yeah, this is.
Oh, okay, okay. I
So
see
it looks
what
like,
you're
subdivision.
looks like Mark Wells
saying. I see what you're
owns
saying.
a circle around,
Yes.
he owns a bunch of acreage, owns a frontage, owns a farm, and some, the same guy that owns here also owns what's over here. I always want to do whatever makes sense, and this doesn't make sense to have things platted that'll never be platted, but I'm with you, I don't want to do anything that will adversely affect another landowner.
Mhm.
So if Mr. Welp or Bender or Hemmerline, if they, if they wouldn't be on board with it, I'd be with you that we, at most, would be 20 feet
Right.
to keep it so we could put a road through if there was ever a possibility.
Well, I think to kind of stay with our subdivision ordinance, we need to keep that 60-foot right of way because this is plotted and they could build, a home on each one of these lots legally. So to stay with the letter of our subdivision ordinance, I think 20 feet would be the most I'd be willing to
To
do.
maintain that 60 foot on the north side.
Right.
What about
Where
you?
is this picture?
I think we need to reach out to these landowners to the north, and see what they've got to say.
Okay.
So normally that would be part of the process. They would say, this is what we want to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, they would be notified by certified
Right.
mail of the actual ordinance being accepted of that meeting.
And the hearing notice is published as well in Bergen News and the Herald as a reminder.
I think your point today is to say, how far am I going to get on this
Yes.
before I go through that whole process? So if you came in and said, I want the whole thing vacated, but you find out today that we're not going to do that, we'll only half, that saves you.
Correct.
You
Before
went
doing
through
the survey and the ordinances and the notifications, publications, we were looking for the informal approval.
So if what Commissioner Hostetter says is correct, is 20 feet going to get there for them?
It might reduce the size of the dwelling, but yeah, if that's what we can get, that's what we can get. If not a complete vacation with easements, would that be possible?
It depends on how many properties are gonna develop here. I mean, our subdivision ordinance would say that on a private drive, which it would be if we gave all of it, there can only be 3 dwellings.
Is that accurate?
Four.
dwellings?
4, okay.
Which they'd have to follow that.
So if the neighbors were okay with that and you guys were okay with the maximum 4 dwellings, I think I would be okay to approve it.
I don't think that the access to these structures will be from the north. There's still a platted alley to the south. That will be the access to them.
Does that alley though flood?
It is in a floodway.
It's in a floodway,
Yes.
but it's not normally.
No, so the only reason it's in a floodway is because FEMA has not updated their maps. If you go by the current DNR maps, the floodway is actually on the south side of 64. So if FEMA would update their maps by DNR, we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd have all of his real estate.
Gotcha.
So would it be more, would it solve the whole problem to do a LOMA and they get to use the whole property?
We will have to do a LOMA regardless once the structures are under construction because they will be that close. The property touches the floodway.
Okay.
They will still require a LOMA.
And once you have that, wouldn't they have the whole lot then?
No, the LOMA's just on the structure itself,
Okay.
not necessarily the entire lot.
But I mean, it would free you up where you could put the structure.
Yeah, I could.
Right, so right, if you're putting the structure in the back and it's just going over a little bit, then you only get it on that one bit of elevation. But if you say I want it up front, then it would clear the whole thing if it went well.
It would. It's a hillside that actually goes up there, so that's why he's wanting to put the structures on the north side for fill reasons and expose retaining walls and whatnot. If we put it down further to the south.
What does the highway department have a thought on it?
Not really. I do agree that 20 foot would probably be realistic. I mean, asking for this line gets a little confusing to vacate that. It'd be nice to have just a straight line. Just go off of it. It doesn't affect the highway department much at all, if any at all. You know, if a developer, property owner, the Welps would want to develop it and use that road, then it would hamper it. Will it? Probably not next
I don't
50
know
years.
that I'd be as concerned if that was one large lot to the north and one large lot to the south. But because it's already plotted and
Yeah.
legally that can be built on each one of those properties, that's what kind of throws the wrench in.
Yeah, I don't know that they have the real estate for the septic for each individual lot, but
Yeah, they probably would.
I'd say it would have to be combined. But
If you had a regional sewer district, you got sewer there, but we're probably looking 3 decades for that one.
Right.
If 20 feet would work, sounds like Commissioner Hostetter's on board with that. I'm definitely on board with that. I don't know, so that's all that really matters. It's 2 of 3 of us. So, if that works, I think you could come back and have confidence that would be something we'd strongly consider.
Or the option for the adjoiners, maybe the whole street,
Or what now?
or the option to get the adjoiners pre-approval and do the whole street and do 40 and 40.
You vacate the whole
If you
street.
did the whole thing, then is Mark Welp over here, is he landlocked?
No, he still has access across the state road and actually all the way back up around by a separate parcel. Or we could also do an easement through there yet. Even though they own it, he could have an egress easement separately.
Who are the owners on lot?
That's also,
165, that's all the same, right?
yes, that's all our line.
Brent, the easement, what does that do for that if he wants to develop the land to the west, the 22 acres there, and I don't know, maybe it's not even developed land, but does an easement allow him to put 10 houses back there?
He'd have to dedicate right away. He'd have to dedicate right away to get to it, unless he went off the state highway.
You'd have to ride the state highway.
If he came off the state, if he wanted to utilize that road, utilize that road, he could not.
An easement would allow him to drive a tractor through there and go back to his.
Correct.
For the current use.
Yeah. But if he decided to put 10 lots back there, then we'd have to access it off.
If you wanted to build a house on there, he can utilize his utility drive.
So, yeah, I think you know where we stand then. 20 feet would probably work. If you get consent of the other people involved, we would probably consider that as well. Does that sound like a fair assessment from the board?
Yeah.
Anything else you need from us or want to?
Nope. We'll get started on it.
All right, it's great, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You want to get the copy back?
Oh, no, you can have it.
I don't know what he
One for each eye.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. All right, this is a better part of the meeting here. This one, we get to thank somebody that has a lot of years of service for their time on the airport board. So, yeah, we'll just roll right into that. Is there anybody else we're waiting on? Nope. Perhaps anybody? Okay, so would the board mind joining me up here and we're gonna talk a little bit. Mr. Berger, you mind joining us up here? So it's a pretty rare occasion that, well, it takes special people to volunteer for one, to be on the board for us. We have a lot of them that we appoint each year. And without volunteers and people that are willing to do this kind of thing, just a lot doesn't get done in our community. Everything from the in this case, the airport. Other ones, tourism, child issues. There's just a number of things. Everything down to the weed board. It takes a lot of people to make a great community. And Mr. Harvey Berger has done 28 years of service on the DuBois County Airport Board. And since the time you've been there, there's been significant changes, and you've been a part of many of those. Everything from the runway extension to the there's just been all kinds. I mean, there's a whole list of things. So what we wanted to do is publicly thank you for that service and present you with just a little something you can keep on your mantle at home, something extra to dust. It just reads, in honor of your service on the DuBois County Airport Board, presented to Harvey Berger, December 18th, 2023, and just give you our sincere thank you.
Thank you.
So, you mind taking a picture? Looks like Travis is gonna take a picture.
Okay.
Come on up here, Louise. And it looks like you have some
Family
some
members.
good family people here with you.
Yeah, our daughters.
Yeah.
Come on up, Travis.
I think he wants you. Yeah, I think so. He wants you. Isn't that Andy? Is that Andy?
No.
Oh. Got it. Thank you all.
So that please, but post whatever you
Thank you, guys.
Before you sit down, is there something, anything you'd like to say about your time on the board, or
I found out one thing,
what's that?
how government works.
You have one word for that, don't you?
Slow.
Yeah, that's so good. This goes on there, so keep fingerprints off of it. And this, there's some foam things that go on the bottom, and that's great. You want to put it back together. Thank you so much for being here. Rita, thank you. And I want to also recognize a couple of our board members, Mr. Hunsaker and Mr. Schnauzer here, and want to thank them for attending and helping us recognize Mr. Berger. So we're really grateful.
Thank you, guys.
Everyone told me what to do.
And Travis told you what to do, so that was gonna work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ken.
So it's a pretty big deal. We've had a person on the tourism board for 30 years and somebody on the airport board for 28. Pretty good. All right, next order of business, we had the item we talked about earlier for the Matrix phone system change at the sheriff's department. I did have a chance to make a brief call to the sheriff in Kenya. They are on board with this. It sounds like the thing that they need to get done. Does anybody else have any questions or comments on what we've got here?
No.
I'll move that we agree to the terms, the 1,947.41 on this agreement.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye. Motion carries.
January 11th, I've got this copy.
Commissioner Oster, when you get 28 years, we'll get you one of those.
I ain't gonna make it 20 years.
You're not gonna make it that one. I think you got it. Do what?
I just finished 27.
27, so if Sandy makes it, we're gonna get her a plaque too.
I had a few more.
Okay, let's see if there's anything from the audience.
We have
Yes,
surplus, we have one
Right.
surplus and a resolution.
Every time.
Before you jump to the next thing.
But if Daryl wants to say something, that's fine.
He has to wait.
And Mr. Chair, can you forward me a photo?
I did, I
Oh,
texted
you did?
you,
Thank you.
yes. I have a joint resolution 2023-18, I believe, be a joint resolution for enter into an interlocal agreement with the city of Jasper for its project of expanding 15th Street to Highway 56 over Sugar Creek, correct? The county's participation in that would be the Sugar Creek Bridge. And we would assist in the financing of the engineering and construction of that bridge. We've discussed this a few times, but in order for an interlocal to go through, we need the resolution that matches their resolution more or less. Ours needs to be joint because this board enters the contract and the council has to sign off on it as well as the fiscal body.
Looks in order to me. I think nothing's changed since the last
It
version.
has not changed. My plan would be then that this would be presented to the council at its meeting next week for its consideration and approval. And then once that is signed off on, Brent or I will have the interlocal agreement for you guys to sign with the city.
Did you send me a copy of that word?
Of the interlocal?
No, of the resolution.
Yes.
All right, I'll move that we approve resolution number 2023-18.
You asked for it separate.
I'll second.
In a separate email.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
That is the only additional business I had.
Soil and water have 2 desks that no one has claimed or wanted to, or, and they would like to declare them surplus.
Were the images sent around?
Yes, no one wants, and no one responded, so.
I will move that we declare the 2 desks from soil and water as surplus to be disposed of.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
I'm supposed to present the nepotism and the county contract disclosure policies. Where you got the council and commissioners sign the contract and the required elected officials have all signed the nepotism, so this is, you guys signed it too, so.
Okay, we have the annual certifications here. Just make note in the minutes that we've reviewed them again, that they've all been signed by the Board of Commissioners and the council people.
And there's other elected officials in there too. The contracts are just you got, the council commissioners. The nepotism is all the elected officials.
Got it. Anyone have we didn't have anybody that refused to sign or didn't make it, so.
Somebody did ask me for a copy of the nepotism policy, which I provided, and they signed it, so. It's been in place since June of 2012. We just have to do this annual certification every year.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? From the auditor?
I think that's all I have.
So in January, we'll have the Board of Finance, we'll have Board Reorganization.
The Board of Finance is the second meeting at 8.
Drainage board's first meeting.
It's at 8:30. Drainage Board is your first meeting. You'll have Board Reorganization, and the Drainage Board will meet at 9 a.m. And then on January 16th, the Board of Finance will meet at 8:30 because solid waste meets before that.
Anything else from County Attorney?
No, sir.
Highway Department? Nope. Commissioner Stefano?
No?
Hostetter? We're gonna get out of here early.
Oh, that's not early.
Well, because 10 o'clock was supposed to be our final item, and we're leaving.
Oh, that's true, that is true.
All right, I'm gonna look through here, I just would hate to leave something undone.
Undone.
security improvements, community comprehensive plan. I'll give you an update on the jail. It looks like, things are still moving along. If anybody wants a tour and you don't feel comfortable going up, let me know. I can go up with you and show you around. It's just a major undertaking. I mean, just the amount of space above the ceiling, all the work that gets done that nobody ever sees, the HVAC, the electric. There's just a lot going on. And
Still in though.
yeah, we're the last 100 meters of the run here. But yeah, EMA, they've been attending the meetings, 911's been attending the meetings, because they're an important part of this last leg as well. And everything.
Timeline?
2.5 months. That's what they say, but it looks pretty darn empty to me.
And it looks
like a lot of-
It looks like a lot to be done yet if you go walk up there.
But they move, some of that inside work, they get done pretty quickly. That's-
Falling like Legos, they'll start falling together
Yeah.
pretty quick.
So
Throw some drywall
it's
up and
taking
it's
longer
done.
than anybody wants, and it's not making it any cheaper for the contractors. They want to get it done because, yeah, they want to get their stuff wrapped up and move on to something else.
They can see the light at the end of the tunnel as well, so they're really, yeah, they're probably ready to be done as well.
And, I would
Great project.
publicly thank Mike Fleesner, again, council president, for all the work he's done on it too. She and I have been just real good partners on it, along with the sheriff and the people at Community
Huge
Corrections.
project.
It's been great. So, well, it hadn't been great. It's been great to have a good partner to work with. All right, I guess we'll close the meeting then.
So you all will continue to meet on the first and third Mondays, barring a holiday, then you'll go to Tuesday.